Last month I had my newborn baby girl Ava. She was 8 pounds, 15 ounces. Her middle name is Lilac, like the flower. We had a long and eventful pregnancy, labor, and delivery. During my pregnancy, I went to 4 different doctors. The first one didn't have good bedside manners. The second one, he was really rough. He just wasn't going to be gentle. Same thing for the third one. It was another man, and he was not gentle at all. 2 days before I had her, I called a 4th doctor, and I was at the very end of my pregnancy, and I had my husband take a vacation day off of work last second, and I really needed to go in there and just get them to be able to induce me that day. I had to really beg, but they did finally send me upstairs to the hospital area, and I was able to go ahead and have her that day. At that practice, they had 2 midwives and 2 doctors. One was a female doctor and one was a male doctor. The midwife who saw me in the hospital was getting my contractions going, giving me Pitocin, and getting everything started up. She decided to then do an ultrasound and found out the baby was actually transverse. She was laying on her side and she was not head down, is what that midwife claimed. So she told me I was going to have to go home at that point and come back in on Monday when they had their male doctor in, who was really good at turning babies. This was a risky process, and looking back now, I actually would have opted for a C-section had it come to that. Then their other female doctor came in randomly at that time, and she did an ultrasound right then, and she said the baby was head down. So I was like crying. I had been praying before she did the ultrasound. I was super excited. Everybody in the delivery room was crying at that point. We had just seen a miracle happen, and I was still going to be able to have the baby that night. So the first midwife came back in, and she broke my water, and everything was going great, and I asked for an epidural. I did want that. I wanted my pain relief. The epidural guy, he came in and he did the epidural. However, after he left, things started going weird. I started feeling like my face was kind of going numb, and I was getting really scared. I thought maybe my lungs were next. If that starts to get numb, then you can die. I know someone who did have their lungs go numb, and that was really scary for her. Luckily, she was able to reverse out her epidural before it got too bad, and that saved her life. And I kind of didn't make a big deal about it. I kind of just waited to see what would happen after that. I knew the epidural was kind of messed up. And then I started feeling every contraction on my left side. So I told the doctor, and they got the epidural guy back in, and he gave me something in my back into my epidural that made everything go away again. I felt much better for about 2 or 3 hours. He gave me something really, really harsh, and I wasn't really super excited about it, but I was just happy I wasn't in pain anymore. Then I'm to the part where I'm pushing, and the pain came back. And it came back really, really bad because I was kind of at the end. And I begged my doctor to bring in the anesthesiologist again, and she said, no, it's too late, and all the nurses were agreeing with her. I was kind of upset at that point because I had opted for pain relief and I wasn't getting it. I really wasn't able to push properly because of all the pain. At that point, I'm screaming and I'm begging for the epidural guy to come back, and they're continuing to tell me no, and they're continuing to just say it's too late, it's too late. And at that point, she started talking about using a vacuum, and I said, no vacuum, no forceps, no. And that was when I made her a promise. I said, if you bring the anesthesiologist back in and just give me something that will get me through these last couple hours, I will push as hard as I can. And she said yes, and she brought him back in, and he fixed my epidural for me. And after I got that pain medication, I was able to finish delivering her. Once she was out, they realized that the cord had been wrapped around her neck 2 times, and she had a fever and I had a high fever. My white blood cell count was really high and my iron was really low, and my legs and my feet were swelling really bad. So we had a lot of recovering to do, but luckily, after they worked with her for a little while, she was able to come over to me, and I was able to do skin-to-skin contact with her for at least an hour. That went great. After that, we got our postpartum room. They gave her a bath. We got our celebration dinner. And after that, we came home, and we've been recovering together ever since. This was such a special video to make because it was the first video I was able to make with Ava and me together. So I was really excited about that, and she's in her little dress. I hope you guys liked this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, and thank you so much for watching.